So sings my soul, praise my God of love and life. So sings my soul, the joyous.
Pinky toe. I don't know if you heard about that, but yeah, she's gonna be fine. I don't really get the big deal. It's the tiniest one. Just lop it off. You got 9 others, but she had a problem with it. No, she'll be just fine. But we miss you. We're thinking of you if you're watching. How about we get happy? Yeah. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for a brand new day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. The Lord is waiting to take your hand. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. We're living in the promised land. We're heading across the river. Wash your cares away in the tide. It's all so peaceful on the other side. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for a brand new day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. The Lord is waiting to take your hand. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. We're living in a promised land. We're heading across the river. Wash your cares away in the tide. It's all so peaceful on the other side. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for a brand new day. How could you be in a bad mood and sing that song?
Thank you, Tanaka.
Welcome, sir. Hello.
Great. Good to see you.
Oh, let's do both. Boom, and then, yeah, I love it.
Thanks much. Good morning, Founders. It's such a joy to be here this morning and to see your smiling faces and to hear this beautiful rendition of happiness, be happy. It's just wonderful. And the idea of being happy is just that, be it. I want to welcome you again, and I want to say I'm so happy to be here representing our senior minister who is still on vacation, but will be back next week, Reverend Arthur. So I'm just delighted to be filling in for him today. So I want to thank you again, and I'll turn it over to our okay.
More music, huh?
I think it's more music time for hear that wonderful voice of.
Well, actually, there's going to be a lot more than just my voice. Everybody, there's a lot of happy today. I don't know if you guys will notice a trend. Yeah, stand up, everyone, and let's sing together. This little light of mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, this little light of mine. Oh, the walking bass line. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, 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 let it shine. We do it one more time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning, Founders family. You know, I say family, and I take that seriously because the nearest relative that I have is 3,000 miles away, so I really consider Founders, people at Founders, my family, the members. So I'm Emma Marie Lee, and I'm going to be doing the announcements for you today. First, I'd like to thank the musicians. Reverend Arthur always calls them the band, and I said, Reverend Arthur, say the musicians instead of the band, because it sounds like we're at a club. But anyway, excuse me, Tanascas, of course, thank you for being here and sitting in for Jennifer. And Rob Wilsner, Sam Montuth, and David Anderson. The easiest name on the list, really, to say. Okay. And many thanks to Tanascas, as I just said, for taking Jennifer's place, where she usually performs each Sunday, like the congregational song and all of that. Jennifer's foot is recovering from her recent fractures. So we hope to see Jennifer soon. Hopefully next Sunday. Oops. Okay, so here are the announcements. There's nothing basically new. First of all, I would like to start off by letting you know that Dan Wenzel is now Reverend Dan Wenzel. Dan, would you stand? Congratulations, Dan. We will have a formal recognition for Dan on September 24th by Dr. Arthur, followed by a celebration in Hornaday Hall downstairs. Alvin, no, that was something else. I didn't even say that. Alvin. Okay. We look forward to welcoming Dr. Arthur back to the pulpit next Sunday, September 10th, following his vacation time, a well-deserved vacation time. I think we'll all agree to that. His topic will be Principles for Better Living. And I'd also like to mention that we've been on a hiatus for Wednesday night service, but it's also starting back. So Wednesday night circle, Mystic Circle for Wednesday night service will return September 13th at 6:30. And it's still via Zoom. So if you need invitations, they will be sent out on Tuesday, September 11th. If you have not been in the group before, please give your email address or your telephone number, but definitely your email address to a staff member so that they can put you on our invitation list. And the first part of that was letting an invitation, that was telling the people that are there all the time, because what Ann Doherty does is she sends out an ID and a passcode for you to just log in. It's very simple to log in to get on. On the first Sunday of the month, we are reading Founders' Vision and Mission Statements. We do that every first Sunday, and that just happens to be the Sunday when I'm on duty. Which are included, if you look in your program, you'll see it's an insert in there that has them in your bulletin. So if it's comfortable for you, only if it's comfortable for you, please stand and read together with me these affirmations on our purpose. And the first we'll do vision, and then we'll do the mission statement. The vision statement. We guide people to understand and apply the spiritual principles of the science of mind and work for the transformation of the community. and the mission statement. We teach the science of mind, taking the truth from all sources. We seek to unite people of all ages, races, and cultures in a caring community. We help people bring their dreams into reality. We teach personal responsibility and self-mastery. We teach healing and well-being as the 5 excellencies: spiritual, mental, physical, social, emotional, and environmental. We teach people how to develop their genius, excuse me, to thrive and flourish. We help in the development of children and hold life in trust for future generations. We serve our community in the areas of our strengths. We encourage the arts. We work to manifest the highest level of spiritual awareness every day. Yes. Okay. I think that's you coming up now, Tanakis, right? Okay. Excuse me? Oh. Okay, yes, affirmation. You can stay seated for that if you want. The affirmation is on the front. Today, I embrace a path to make my life happier and more fulfilling. Thank you, Tanaskas.
It takes a village.
Yes.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. You can sing along. 'Cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds is by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Say, this is my message to you. What was that message? I couldn't hear it. All right, there you are. 'Cause every little thing gonna be alright. So don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds is by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Saying, this is my message to you. So don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Let's do that one more time. It's gonna be, that was a trick. One more time. 'Cause every little thing gonna be alright. Love it. Yeah. Yes, Jimmy.
Okay, thank you. Too bad Dr. Arthur wasn't here to hear that. That's his favorite song of all songs, I think. Okay, just one thing. A couple of items that I missed on the announcements. There's a sign-up sheet in the foyer for those of you who are interested in joining a mastermind group, which will focus on developing the consciousness and tools necessary for financial stability and success. Practitioner Debbie Gale will be facilitating this group. The day and time will be determined once we contact those of you and others who indicate interest. This is a great opportunity for increasing our abundant living in all ways. Be sure to sign up, leave a contact number or email address so that we can be in touch with you. And I didn't see that because it's colored in dark blue. And the other thing that I forgot to tell you, which is really important on the first Sunday of every month, is birthdays. So is there anyone here who has a birthday in the month of September? Please stand so we can say, not sing, but say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay.
Back there.
So today is birthday Sunday, and I've already had you stand, and happy birthday to you. Everyone, be sure to come downstairs to Hernaday Hall after the service to enjoy the social time because we're celebrating your birthday, and you can tell us a little bit about yourself. We're going to have a birthday cake, as always, and the birthday person, unless there's someone that comes in later who's this month, will introduce themselves. And this is a great way for us to get to know each other, you know, people that maybe you've seen for years and you didn't really know their name or whatever. So, and did I ask the visitors to stand? I don't think so. Any visitors here today? Okay. And I think we did the affirmation already. Okay, so now I'm here to actually do the scripture for the day and the Science of Mind reading from the textbook and the meditation. If it's on the back of your bulletin if you'd like to follow along with me. It's taken from Proverbs, 17th chapter, 22nd verse. A happy heart is good medicine, and a joyful mind causes healing, but a broken spirit dries up the bones. And from the Science of Mind textbook, it's taken from page 597. Happiness, a state of well-being or enjoyment of good of any kind. In metaphysics, it means a state of inner peace, a consciousness of the goodness of God, and the beneficent attitude of the universe. It has a definite effect on mind, body, and affairs. We have a right to any happiness of which we can conceive, provided that happiness hurts no one and is in keeping with the nature of progressive life. And now I'll ask you to bow your heads with me and say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I've got peace like a river in my soul.
I know that Spirit is right here with us because that's our promise. That's the promise that's been made to us. So I speak a word then of prayer for everyone that's here, for Dr. Arthur and Cecile, knowing that they are getting the rest, the well-deserved rest that they need. I bless all the musicians, and I say a word of healing and blessing for our dear Jennifer. I know that the message that Alvin Turner brings to us today, practitioner Alvin Turner, you will leave here with something to think about during the week. That there will be something he will give us that we can use to raise our spirituality, to become more present of the presence of Spirit, of that promise that says, be still and know, I am God. I am always with you. And sometimes we forget that. So I speak my word then that we're open and receptive to the message that's been brought to us, and that we can take that message with us as we leave today. I also say this same prayer to those that are listening now, that are streaming and hearing this service, for these words of prayer are meant just as strongly for you. For God is everywhere. You don't have to be physically present to hear this prayer, as long as it's spoken from a place of deep belief within the person that's speaking it. And I do believe in God and in the Spirit that is always with each and every one of us. So for this understanding, I can release this prayer to the universe and confirm that I'm releasing it by simply saying, it is done, and so it is. Amen.
Open my eyes that I may see fullness of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hand that wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. I have to just do one thing. At the end of the last song, I said, thank you, Jimi Hendrix, instead of Bob Marley. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How embarrassing. Okay, sorry, Bob. All right. Each day I live, I want to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. I broke my heart for every gain. To taste the sweet, I face the pain. I rise and fall, yet through it all, this much remains. I want one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be. When all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing destiny. Then, in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. I will live to be the very best. I want it all, no time for less. I've laid the plans, now lay the chance here in my hands. Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be. When all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then, in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. Oh, you're a winner for a lifetime if you seize that one moment in time. Take it time. Give me one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be. When all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Then, in that one moment in time, I will be free. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanakas. That song, One Moment in Time, gives me inspiration for my talk, knowing that the one moment in time is where you're creating your happiness. In that one moment, this one moment is the moment in which you're creating your happiness. Every moment in time is a moment in which you're creating your happiness. Again, I want to say thank you to all of you for being here. And I understand we are live taping this morning, live streaming. So I want to welcome those people who are with us by way of electronics. So I thank everyone for your presence this morning. I neglected to welcome and give thanks to the people up in the lobby, our service helpers. We have up there Pat Gentry, who is also doing the streaming today. She's had help from someone outside until today, but today she's doing it on her own. I also want to welcome our ushers out in the lobby. We have Sylvia and I believe Connie today, so I want to thank them for being here. And of course, our musicians were welcomed by our personnel. We had our drummer, and our drummer was, I believe, Sam, and our guitarist, and Rob on our piano. So everybody, again, welcome you. And to Reverend Dan, a special welcome to Reverend Dan. Again, accolades to you for having crossed that hurdle. Thank you so much. Glad you're here. And you see him here holding vigil for us today. Thank you so very much. I want to tell you how grateful I am for the opportunity to share some insights this morning on a topic that affects everyone's life, the topic happiness. I was thinking about it a moment ago, and thinking when I was listening to Tanaka's, that happiness is our everyday actions, our everyday behavior, because all of our thoughts are part of our happiness. Every thought that we have is some aspect of creating our happiness. So you're creating your happiness every moment in time. In preparing for today's message, I had occasion to research numerous research studies, some of which I will share with you as we move along, and books about happiness. And I was delighted to read again our own senior minister, Reverend Arthur Chang's book, The New Positive Spirituality. Dr. Chang devotes the first 5 chapters of section 1 of the book to the topic, Happiness is a Choice. I found that topic and the whole book insightful and fascinating to read, and I strongly recommend that you check it out. Another bit of interest as I was doing my research was to learn that the word hap, as in happy, is from an Old Norwegian language meaning chance, luck, fortune, or fate. Also, the suffix y that is added to it means full of, to whatever it's attached to. So lucky people then are full of luck. So happy people then must be full of fortune, fate, chance, or luck. Now there is no good definition for happiness, because happiness means different things to different people. One way to understand the subject might be to paraphrase the U.S. Supreme Court Justice who was addressing the issue of obscenity, and he said, "I cannot define it, but I know it when I see it." And I believe everyone who hears me this morning knows what I'm thinking about and what I'm discussing when I use the word happy or happiness. I think context plays a big part in understanding happiness, and I love the story of the Englishman, the Frenchman, and the Russian. They were all sitting around discussing happiness. This was an era when Stalin was ruling in communist Russia, and if you said the wrong thing in Russia, the secret police might show up at your doorstep and take you away to a labor camp in Siberia if you were not towing the Communist Party line. The Englishman was saying happiness was coming home, sitting down by the fire, and putting your feet into warm slippers. That is happiness. The Frenchman said, "You Englishmen have no sense of romance. Happiness is a wonderful restaurant, having fine wine with a beautiful woman. That is happiness." The Russian said, "You're both wrong. Happiness is when you're lying asleep at 4 in the morning and there's a knock at your door. It's the secret police. They say, 'Ivan Ivanovich.' You breathe a sigh of relief and say, 'Ivan Ivanovich lives next door.' That is happiness." So you see, it all depends on your perspective. Different perspectives have very different opinions when it comes to happiness. Happiness is not a frivolous concern. It is as deep and worthy a cause as good and evil. Human beings want to be happy, as you heard in the definition of happiness read from the script this morning, and they have a right to want to be happy. It's the one distinguishing feature of being human. We tend to think we owe it to ourselves to be happy, to be as happy as we can be, and that's true, but research shows happiness is far more than a personal concern. It is also a moral obligation. We owe it to our mates, husbands, wives, family, children, friends, indeed, everyone who comes into our lives, to be as happy as we can be. Why? Because we do not enjoy being around others who are usually unhappy. Those who enter our lives feel the same way. There's a second reason why happiness is a moral obligation. In general, people tend to act more decently when they're happy. Think about it. Do you feel more positively disposed toward other people, and do you want to treat other people better when you're happy or unhappy? There is yet a third reason. Unhappy religious people reflect badly on their religion and their Creator. If their religion or faith is so impressive, why aren't they happy? Two possible reasons are they're practicing their faith incorrectly, or they're practicing their faith correctly, and the religion itself is not conducive to happiness. Unhappy religious people need to think about how important being happy is. If not for themselves, then for the sake of their religion. Unhappy, let alone angry, religious people provide more persuasive arguments for atheism and secularism than do all the arguments of the atheists. As acknowledged earlier, there is no good one-fits-all definition of happiness, but there are two distinct perspectives for happiness: external and internal. External happiness may be, usually it's dependent on some outside influence. It may be temporary, usually. It may be getting your nails done. That makes you happy. It may be getting a pedicure. It may be finding the right scarf to match your outfit. That makes you happy. These are external factors that we engage in, and it's often too easy to create a list of what we want the world to give us rather than thinking in terms of the opposite equation of what can we give back to the world to make us happy. And it's the external things that we depend on to make us happy that do not usually give us long-term happiness. It's the internal perspective that fits the definition for happiness in the reading that you heard this morning: a state of well-being, contentment, and joy, and the key phrase is that arises from within. There's a famous Chinese proverb that identifies a challenge in this way. It says, if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a month, get married. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody else. Notice the wisdom of the proverb. The first two things are just momentary pleasures. Obviously, they are not going to make you happy forever. Numbers 3 and 4, getting married and inheriting a fortune, are major circumstantial changes in life, But those are the kinds of changes people tend to adapt to over time. You get used to a new level of happiness, or a new level of wealth, and you want more. That's part of human nature. The proverb gets it right. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody else. It fits the internal perspective of happiness that arises from within. To better understand how the mind plays the central role in creating our happiness, it might be helpful to remember our natural state. And our natural state is wholeness and well-being in the 5 senses that you heard in the mission statement this morning. The 5 senses are all essential aspects of our wholeness. The aspect spiritual, the aspect of mental, spiritual meaning God consciousness, the aspect of mental, our mental consciousness, the aspect of well-being, the aspect of physical, which means your health, your body, and the aspect of social, meaning your interaction with others, your family, your friends, your neighbors, the people you meet on the street, everywhere, the interaction. All of these are the 5 aspects that play into our creating our happiness. It's part of what we ascribe to our natural state of being as wholeness, as perfect, whole, and complete in the spiritual consciousness. And when we're creating our happiness, it is from this perspective of wholeness where the mindset determines the decisions that we make. So the mindset, do you have a mindset of joyfulness, a mindset of love, a mindset of wellness, a mindset, all of these mindsets that are well and whole in terms of the 5 essentials of your being are playing a part in your thinking in every decision that you make. If you can grasp the idea of the creative process wherein your thought in your conscious thinking, which is your mental state of consciousness, your thinking is registered and is moved into your mental subjective mode that knows and has everything it needs to do to make it so, to make it manifest in your experience. So it is about your thinking, the thoughts that you have, and the source of those thoughts are your experiences, your whole storehouse of experiences that you've had and are maybe contemplating or maybe wanting to have. Everything is stored in that mental mode of yours. Sometimes in religions we say in the soul. Now, you remember, we are all sons and daughters of the one Creator. As such, we are of the same triune nature in terms of the creation process, spirit, soul, and body, as our Creator. So we think our thoughts in our conscious mind, and they are moved into our mental mode that acts on them and produces them in our everyday experience. So I'm attempting to give you the technical background of how it works. But it's not something that we spend time thinking about. When we're thinking, we simply think. And the thinking comes from our storehouse of ideas, our storehouse of feelings, our storehouse of emotions. Our thinking comes from them. I'm reminded of the story of a woman who was experiencing some unhappiness. She was troubled by a remark that had been made many years ago by her husband. When the two of them were out for dinner, he made a remark. It was about her weight, and she was very conscious of her weight. She felt that she was too heavy, and she was very conscious about it. He made the remark and immediately apologized for it. He recognized that he had hurt her feelings. But that remark stayed with her, and she added to it by thinking negative thoughts about herself. Every time she thought about the remark that he had made, she would add to it with more negative thinking. So as a result, she felt lousy so much of the time, but that was because she was building on something that took place years ago. At the time I met her, it's been 10 years or so. And in that 10 years, at the time I learned about this, there was no point in working on the situation that had occurred because it had happened so long ago, and her husband had apologized so profusely for it. But the thing was to work on her coming to realize that it was she holding the thoughts. And when she came to realize that she was holding the thoughts and it was she creating the misery in her life, she let it go and she was happy ever after. So the part of the story is we hold on to thoughts that do not serve us, and once we become aware of those thoughts that no longer serve us and let them go, we then can move into the happy mindset. We know that we are in charge of our thoughts. No one thinks for us. We think our own thoughts. So it's so important to have in our arsenal of thinking happy mindset thoughts. Dr. Donald Curtis, a noted metaphysician and MD, said that constructive balanced consciousness is what leads to health or wholeness. Positive thoughts, feelings of love, and habits of moderation are all essential if we are to establish and maintain wholeness. Now, wholeness is what I've been talking about all of this time. Wholeness in the 5 essentials. Wholeness in your spiritual awareness, wholeness in your mental awareness, wholeness in your physical well-being, wholeness in your social. All of the 5 essentials constitute your wholeness. So, continuing with the findings of Dr. Curtis, he says, these positive thoughts and feelings of love and habits of moderation are all essential if we are to maintain wholeness. And only if we maintain wholeness can we then have the storehouse to call upon for our happiness, for our thoughts. We know our right thoughts planted in spiritual mind deposits a blueprint of the thought it receives into the mental mode of our thinking, which we call the creative law aspect of mind. And there, the blueprint of the thoughts are made into a mold of effects or things, conditions, situations, circumstances, whatever it is we're thinking. That blueprint is made into that mold. And the thing is so simple that you might miss is you're doing it every moment in time. You're doing it without having to think about it, but you are thinking every moment of your waking life. You're thinking, and you're thinking thoughts. And what kind of thoughts are you thinking? Whatever thoughts you're thinking, the conscious mind is forming a blueprint of it, and that blueprint is moving to the mode of action to make it appear in your life experience. That's the creative process. So, finding happiness means then creating a house full of positive thoughts in your consciousness. Researchers have explored populations around the world, and it turns out that 4 qualities that bring satisfaction and peace are similar no matter to where you may live. You may live in a McMansion or a tiny house. But the 4 factors are friendliness, cheerfulness, compassion, and gratitude. I'll elaborate on these a little further along. In summary, experience and research support the belief that a happiness mindset can be cultivated and is conducive to long-term happiness. Research shows that happiness is a choice. That's one of the lines in Reverend Arthur's book, Happiness is a Choice. Happiness can coexist in suffering. Like the woman I mentioned, happiness was not precluded from her life, but the level of happiness was expanded when she was able to release the thoughts that she was holding. So happiness can coexist in suffering. I know a friend who has been on crutches and who has been struggling in many ways with hip issues, but it has not interfered with her being happy. So happiness can coexist even when there is suffering. And finally, in that, happiness is when you are fully aligned as wholeness. Wholeness, again, is the 5 essentials of your being. Because it is from that mindset that your storehouse of happiness is built. I want to share the 4 aspects that were found to be in common pretty much around the world. As the researchers explored populations around the globe, and it turns out that the 4 qualities that bring satisfaction and peace are pretty similar no matter where you live. The big 4, again, are friendliness, cheerfulness, compassion, and gratitude. Let's break them down for a moment. I thought you would find them interesting, what the research reports on these items. Friendliness, as the old saying about people who have never met a stranger, describes people who meet the world with a happy temperament and an openness to new people, regardless of who may be standing in their way on that day. Friendliness is about offering warmth and good humor to those around you. It is about being willing to make the first move socially while recognizing that the rewards for friendliness are not always immediately enjoyed. As a vibrantly healthy woman in her 60s once shared, every day is a new opportunity to add to my collection of friends. Humans are social creatures, and being kind is a lot more likely to help you build your tribe than offering rudeness to those from whom you might someday need support or assistance. Third, cheerfulness. There are enough old songs that encourage us to put on a cheerful face or smile when your heart is breaking, that many of us may feel that we should practice lying to ourselves. But actually, there's a Zen quote that encourages us to practice smiling while peeling carrots. Being able to offer a sunny disposition to the world, regardless of your inner state, actually encourages you to feel better. Smiles are contagious, and if we are able to muster up the energy to offer our own smile to others, even when our inner world is falling apart, we are likely to begin feeling better ourselves when our smile is returned. Seeing someone offer a genuine smile is emotionally and mentally healing. Actually, imagine being smiling at by someone you love is just as powerful healing. Another reason for being cheerful, research has shown that when patients grimace during medical treatments procedures, they feel more pain than those who do not. And the fourth one, compassion. Offering compassion to others is another charitable act that positively influences the giver. When we accept others' shortcomings or cut others slack for their wrongs or missteps, we are valuing humanity over someone's personal flaw. Most of us truly are doing the best we can at any given moment. Sure, some days our best is far from enough, and there are days when we know that we are guilty of giving less where we probably should have given more. No one is perfect or 100% at their game every day. If you accept the shortfall of others, the windfall is a happier life for you. For those of us who might imagine that we always give 100%, can prove this to ourselves by giving others a little compassion when they don't measure up to our standards. That's what someone who truly gives 100% would do, no doubt. And finally, gratitude. Bring a sense of gratitude to your life. Whatever you have in life, and whatever you are, wherever you are, you can find some reason to be grateful. Acknowledging your own good fortune, no matter how slight, can actually enhance your overall well-being. Other benefits are that we sleep better and enjoy better relationships. Not only that, but researchers have also found that your level of gratitude is inversely proportionate to your level of depressed feelings. The more grateful you are in life, the better the chances are that you will actually enjoy what you have. Those were little tidbits that you might add to your storehouse of mindfulness and mindful thinking that will contribute to your creating your happiness when you have occasion to need it. There's another research article that I won't share with you right now, but it was an article, researchers did 700 people starting in 1938 and continuing to this day to find the keys to happiness. And one of the things they discovered that I will mention is that relationships was the one aspect that people have continued to have throughout these 80 years is all of the interviews with people over the years, they've been interviewed every 10 or 15 years or so, found that the main force in their lives was relations with others. The interrelations with people in their workforce, in their family, in their many aspects of life, like the military, for example. Most of the people, all of the people, according to research, when asked about things that had meant the most to them, in some way connected it with social interactions. So that, again, is another layer to add to your storehouse to call upon for your happiness. Again, remember, you are creating your happiness in this very moment by what you're thinking. Be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of your interactions. I'm reminded of the action of children. Children seem to be authentically, naturally happy. That's because they have not taken on layers and layers of things that we have taken on as adults. When you can allow yourself to move to that space of letting go, of being open to your true nature, which is spiritually perfect, whole, and complete, to your awareness of who you truly are, a son or daughter of the Creator, in whose image you live, in whose image you do your thinking, your thoughts, as a spiritual being. Children are naturally in that state. That is their natural state. And it's when we as adults are able to turn to or move into that state, we again, like children, without having to think about it, we become happy. We become that which we truly are. Spirit is happiness. That's your natural state. Spirit is joy. That's your natural state. When you can return to that, finding happiness does not become a chore. It becomes your way of life. There's an affirmation hanging at my entryway to my room, that's my home, that says, happiness is not a destination, it's a way of life. Make your thoughts meaningful by remembering you are creating your happiness by whatever you may be thinking at any time of the day. I'm going to leave you with a few affirmations that I have found to be of great value, and perhaps you too will find them meaningful. You may use them at any time that you may choose. Happiness is my choice. I choose to be happy today. I know that I am not alone. God is with me on my journey. Happiness is my being fully present today. Happiness is me coexisting with any suffering that I may experience. Happiness is me being fully aligned with the truth of who I am, spiritually perfect, whole, and complete. I trust that you find happiness as you create your mindset where there's nothing else to turn to but happiness. God bless you.
Please stand. And we'll sing the doxology. Praise God that good is everywhere. Praise to the love we all can share. The life that thrills in you and me. Praise to the truth that sets us free. Amen.
Thank you, and thank you, ushers. And thank you. You may be seated. I would like to say that God blesses a gift, and God blesses the receiver. We give thanks to each of you for whatever you give in your donation, your contribution to the maintenance of the truth as it is presented through this establishment called Founders. We know that your gift is your way of expressing the giving of happiness, and the happiness will be returned to you in measure. So we give thanks and let it be. Thank you, Usher.
All right. So the next one, everybody knows, don't worry, be happy. I'm going to need a little congregational participation. It's me. I'm always asking you to do this. Jennifer's not here, so you all are my wingman. All right, so let's just go through the chorus. If you guys can just help me out with the chorus, everyone knows it. You know that. 1, 2, everybody. I don't hear you singing. All right, one more time, one more time. Yeah. Sing that nice and strong. I could do the harmony. You see how this works? All right. One more time, one more time. Yeah, yeah. Don't get scared because of the harmony. We will do that a lot. And here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note by note. Don't worry. Be happy. In every life, you get some trouble. But when you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Ooh. Don't worry. Be happy. Come on, nice and strong. Worry, be happy. I love it. Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Well, don't worry. Be happy. The landlord says your rent is late. He might have to litigate, but don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. happy. Don't worry, be happy. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile. Well, don't worry, be happy. 'Cause when you're worried, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. So don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Don't worry, ooh, be happy. Ooh, don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. One more time. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be Don't worry, be happy. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Bobby McFerrin.
Thank you, Tanakos. Thank you so much. Now I invite you to close your eyes and turn within with me, recognizing the one almighty creator, the one source of happiness, the one source of joy that's for everyone around the world. For those of us who are here, for those of us who are across the world, across the globe, happiness is the one source that's available to all in mind. We give thanks for knowing that the one mind is everywhere, all present everywhere. It is the joy, it is the happiness that everyone deserves. Everyone has a right to expect it, and everyone has a right to pursue it. We give thanks for the knowing that this presence and this wonderful joy and experiences that we in our lives experience from every day is available to us every day, is available to us today, this moment, the next moment. It's available to us for our eternity. We give thanks for this presence. We give thanks for the knowing that all is well in this one holy good. It is all good for all people everywhere. We have only to open our minds to it, and as we do in direct proportion that we open our minds to allowing it to pervade, it pervades and prevails. So we give thanks for this, and we say together, and so it is. Now I invite you to close your eyes again, knowing that we've had the joy of this day, we've had the joy of being, and in this joy of this moment, we know that this shepherd goes with us and protects us until we come back together again. So I release this into law, accepting it is done. And so it is.
On earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our center, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternal. on earth, and let it begin.